Hi guys, I'm Kristen Nettapak and you're watching Science Fiction TV. This week in science fiction and fantasy was an exciting one, wasn't it? Sucker Punch released last Friday, and the film starring a sexy cast of badass vixens has critics a little confused. Well, I guess if you're a young gamer boy, the sex explosions and gorgeous female cast might have satisfied you, but our resident reviewer, Dave Taylor, tells us what's missing is a coherent storyline. Hollywood seems to do that these days, don't they? Can't anyone handle action and a storyline at the same time? Apparently not. Well, that said, Sucker Punch knocked out $19 million in its opening weekend, but was beaten at the box office by, ironically, a teenage boy in the form of Diary of a Wimpy Kid. What else happened in the box office this weekend? Well, the film Limitless pulled in $15 million in its second week for third place with Paul, and Battle of Los Angeles, The Adjustment Bureau, and Mars Needs Moms all gave sci-fi the credit it deserves by placing in the top 10. Go sci-fi! Well, you'll find all of our movie coverage along with Dave's full and not so nice review of Sucker Punch on our site sciencefiction.com/movies. Now it's time to talk Geek TV. Steven Spielberg's Falling Skies is coming to TNT in June. The classic post-alien invasion story stars Noah Weil as a history professor whose family was torn apart in the attack and, after having his son kidnapped by the Little Green Men, was forced to team up with fellow survivors and go after the dirty bastards. I mean the aliens. Our Christine Donatello says it's a drama with action that focuses on challenges to the human spirit, interspersed with sci-fi goodies like giant mechanical alien spiders and mech warriors. Well, I'll watch just about anything with aliens, and though it's been quite a few decades, Spielberg did do us justice with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. I'm just saying. Well, you can read Christine's write-up of the show along with a link to the online webcomic prequel at sciencefiction.com/TV. Now, what else has been happening this week in science fiction news?
I'll tell you that, Kristen. There have been some additional changes to the Iron Man 3 production team, with Marvel Studios adding writer Drew Pearce to the lineup. Pearce seems to have made an impression on Marvel with his work on another comic project, Runaways. This change comes shortly after director Shane Black of Lethal Weapon fame replaced Iron Man 1 and 2 director Jon Favreau. Iron Man 3 is set for release in May 2013. Death is a girl? That's the question posed this week by columnist Amy Ratcliffe as she examines Death as a character in Neil Gaiman's Sandman comic series. Amy says artist Mike Dringenberg brought Death, well, to life by depicting her as a young woman with a taste for goth who's stylish and has a nurturing disposition. She's also the highest-ranking female comic book character. Let's see if she gets a show on NBC. Amy also weighs in with the book review of an updated version of Plucker by Brahm. It's a fairy tale for adults that's a harrowing and dark adventure story of abandoned toys, some of whom have nefarious designs on their child owner's soul. The book is filled with more than 100 of Brahm's paintings and is a visual treat. Amy dares anyone to not read the whole book in one sitting. Christine is reporting that game maker Square Enix has announced that action RPG The Third Birthday has shipped to North America retailers today. The game drops players into Manhattan in 2012, where creatures known as the Twisted have come to the future to feed on humans. Gamers take on the role of Aya, a strong, complex protagonist who is the only human compatible with the overdrive system that can repel the invaders. And finally, debuting this weekend in theaters is Source Code, starring Jake Gyllenhaal, who plays a government agent who gets transported back in time over and over and over again, gathering clues each time to prevent a terrorist attack in Chicago. It's Groundhog Day, Minority Report, and Memento on a train. I can't wait to see the reviews. The trailer looks pretty good. Stay up to date on everything science fiction and fantasy by connecting with us on Twitter at ScienceFiction, by liking us on Facebook, or by visiting the site at ScienceFiction.com.
I do remember saying last week that we were going to have a very serious discussion about science, so let me get prepared. And we have our very own expert, Dr. Nigel Seal, to thank for all of it. Nigel's an expert in artificial intelligence and telecom design. Geeks, I know you're drooling. And this week he's contributed several articles to our site, including one regarding the Large Hadron Collider at CERN in Geneva. So we gave Nigel a call to talk about his search for supersymmetry and why it all matters, so to speak.
Thanks, Kristen. I spoke with Nigel about the LHC and the current thinking in physics community this week. The full discussion will be posted as a podcast on our site this weekend. Here's an excerpt of what we talked about.
So the Higgs particle is really essential to create that fundamental fact of the world around us, which otherwise would not be explained. So the Higgs particle, which as yet has not been found, is expected to be within the energy range that the Large Hadron Collider can actually generate. But the Higgs will only be within that energy space if supersymmetry is true. So in a sense, supersymmetry is a behind-the-scenes actor that is really anchoring some of the highest profile things that we're kind of looking for.
Got it. So we know the quarks and we know these things exist. We don't know exactly why. We have theories as to why they exist, and Sussy and the Higgs will hold those theories. Well, they are the theory. And
yeah, I mean, the best theory that people have right now is that when you wave your arm around and you feel the resistance to motion of waving your arm around, it's because the protons and neutrons and electrons in your arm are interacting with the Higgs field. And, that's the reality of the Higgs field as science today understands it.
You can hear the full discussion on the site at ScienceFiction.com this Sunday.
Now it's time for a roundup of what's hitting the shelves at your local comic book store. First, the sequel to the hit book and movie Kick-Ass is out, featuring our own hero, Dave Lazowski, who comes face to face with the world he helped to create, with everyone still running around in costumes, of course, because this is Kick-Ass. Our comic genius, Brian Tudor, tells us, now this is big, that it's the comic book event of 2011. As we know, Whedon's TV series Dollhouse has been canceled. Boo. But it's not over yet. The story will continue in comic book form in Dollhouse Epitaphs from Dark Horse Comics. The technological virus that allowed the dollhouse to exist in the first place has gone viral, wiping the minds of, everyone it reaches, turning them into killing machines. Sexy killing machines, that is. Everyone else has their hands full trying to save the world. Sounds like just another day in the sci-fi universe. So last week we asked our vampire-loving and apparently not-so-loving fans to vote on whether or not we should include more supernatural content on our site. And the vote came back no. Well, Mr. Anti-Vampire Rob, whose annual Halloween costume is a tad bit hypocritical, I must say. Check it out here. Yeah, nice horns, buddy. He's celebrating as I speak. I hope you're happy, Rob. It looks like the Pro-Vamps party couldn't make it out of the dark, so we will continue to take it easy on the fingers. At least for now. Yeah, I'm not happy. But that's it for our show, guys. Thanks to everyone who voted, and thanks to our scientist in residence, Dr. Nigel Seal. It was great talking to you. Our expert geek crew, Brian, Dave, Christine, and Amy, for their contributions every week. And guys, listen, please be sure to follow us on Twitter at Science Fiction and on Facebook, because we are giving away prizes this week. And I mean big prizes. Like, you no longer have to go to your friend's house to borrow their game system prizes. I'm Kristen Metapack. Thanks for watching Science Fiction TV on ScienceFiction.com, and I'll see you guys next week.